Hello and welcome. You're listening to Start Again with Shauna Lee, the place where you will be reminded that it's never too late and you're never too old to do the damn thing. So stick around if you're ready to vibe higher and be inspired to chase your dreams. Together, we will uncover your soul's truest desires. Now, if you're ready, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Špela, one of my new friends. She is a weight loss transformation coach, and I am so excited for you to meet her. Špela, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy.
It is so nice to talk to you again, and I love to kick these off with just a quick intro from you. Tell us a little bit about your business, but specifically, how have you embraced this idea of starting again?
Okay, so yes, I work as a weight loss transformation coach for women aged 40 plus, because this is who I also am. So yes, my starting again had a long background. So I made a little cheat sheet today, and I decided I was going to start in a high school because I come from a tiny state in Europe, Slovenia. We used to be former socialist country. And it was very common for my parents and their parents to work in the same job for their whole lives.
Oh, sure.
Right? Yeah. So this was something that I grew up with, and this was something that I was conditioned to believe, that once you pick your profession, you'll be doing that for the rest of your life. So in Slovenia, we have to decide what our professional path will be at the age of 15 when we enter the high school. Yeah. And so once you pick your major, you're supposed to do that, like I said, for the rest of your life.
And did people often change their minds? Like, I know here in the United States, it is sort of still the expectation that kids in high school will kind of pick the path that they're going to go down, but often people will get to college or university and then decide, oh no, I don't want to do that thing, and then they change their mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's starting to get more common, but still more people don't do that. Yeah, so it's still like an odd thing to do.
Sure.
Yes. So the like rebels like myself do it usually.
Got it.
Yeah. So I studied economics and started working in sales. I did that for 15 years then. But I never really had this passion for sales. I didn't finish elementary school and say, oh, I want to work in sales. But it was just something. My father was a salesman, so I thought maybe I should do that too. Mm-hmm. So I worked in different jobs for 15 years, but it was all sales related. And at first it was quite interesting. It was a lot of travel, learning new things, and so on. But then I had my two boys. I have two sons. They are aged 11 and 15. And after the second one, I really started to feel like every time I drove to work, I had a pit in my stomach, because I didn't want to go there. I didn't like what I was doing. When I had to go away for a few days on a business trip, I always almost cried because I had to leave my family and so on.
Yeah.
So this was the beginning of the end of this career path for me. But I didn't know it yet because I thought, well, what shall I do? I was in my late 30s and I thought that I cannot change my career now because I knew I didn't want to do anything sales or economics related, right? But then it was the kind of coincidence, I guess. I found this fitness class, like a certification class. And I said, well, maybe I should try it, right? And I did, but still I didn't think that this could be my new career. And I started learning, and I was more and more interested in the field. And then at first I started to coach a few of my close friends, and we started making results together. And so I started to coach more people and more, and then I kind of was let go of my old job, and it was like a logical next step to go down this new path. So yeah,
Yes,
this
sure.
was yeah.
So yeah, you have totally embraced this idea of starting again.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your business and this transformation that you help women go through.
Yeah, well, it was like I used to diet all of my life. I never was very overweight, right? But I was always on some diet, and I tried everything and did everything, bought different supplements because I wanted to lose a few kilos,
Mhm.
and it really worked. And when I did this certification in fitness, I learned a lot of new stuff, and I learned what is the right way to do it. Then I started noticing that a lot of women struggle with that. They don't know how to do it, how to achieve transformation. What should they start with? They really struggle, and also women in their 40s or late 30s, 40s, 50s, when the perimenopause hits, it's so very common for women to not be able to lose weight. They start
Mhm.
gaining weight. They think that their life is, they're in the fall of their life.
Yes, yes.
They make peace with, okay, I have a few kilos, a few extra kilos, so but that's how it is. I'm getting older, and that's just how it's supposed to be. But it doesn't have to be that way. And I discovered that, and I practiced that on myself and also on my clients, and we're getting great results. And yes, I started working offline as a one-to-one with my clients, and a year ago I also switched partly to online. So
Oh,
I
okay.
now coach women also from other parts of the world. So yes,
Oh,
it's
that's
something
awesome.
that I do now. Yes.
Amazing. So when you look back at your story, what inspires you most about it?
Well, I always thought that I was too old to make a change, right?
Hmm.
And also, when I went to these fitness classes, my schoolmates were all 10 or 15 years younger than me. So I
Oh, sure.
thought, okay, I can do this class, I can do this certification, but I cannot work in this field because I'm too old. I'm not like, super fit, or I don't have any sports background. I just don't fit in, right? So it's really inspiring because I always used to be like a little bit of a rebellion, right?
Hmm. Yes.
I always wanted to do things my way and a little bit different from others. And I think that this was one of those things also, because I wanted to go totally in a totally new direction. And this
Yeah.
helped me to really pick this path. So this is really inspiring, despite my age and not being from this field, that I still managed to do the change. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would think that that actually sets you up to be a really successful coach in that industry if you look different than most of the other coaches, right? That's what sets you apart and will be your niche in that area, which is
Yeah.
so
Yes,
smart
I
when you
think
start a
so.
new business, right?
Yeah, I think so because I see it from my point of view. I never could totally relate to the fitness models because I knew that I will never be like them.
Sure.
I could much more relate to someone who looked a little bit like me, like
Yep.
a mom, working mom who has to find a few minutes every day to work out. She doesn't have 4 hours every day, and
Exactly.
she doesn't have 3 hours daily to meal prep, you know,
Yes.
And
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, and I think that really this is really something that that makes other women see. Yeah.
Yes, and I think also it is helpful when you see someone that you're like, oh, okay, well, she's more like me, represents what
Yeah.
I would expect. I think when someone is trying to start something new, it can be also very intimidating to see if I were to go in and want to try some new class and it's, 20-year-old teaching the class, that's intimidating for a lot of people. So
Mm-hmm.
I think to be able to see that somebody who's living the same life as I am as a working mom can also
Right.
do these really great things and also, to your point, see the transformation that you have seen for your clients, which is amazing. So, one of the things that I talk about a lot on this podcast is our lessons. And a lot of times we can beat ourselves up for thinking, I failed or I've made this mistake. But what I've learned is with every failure or every mistake, it really is a lesson that we get to learn. And when
Yeah.
I look back at all of my lessons, all the many ones, I start to see a common theme. So if you were to do that, what is the common theme in your lessons?
Well, I'd say that, like you said, failure is not really a failure. It's a stepping stone to success. I
Exactly.
think that we are taught that way. I don't know. I think so. That we should fear failure.
Hmm.
Failure is something bad. Already at school, they are teaching us that bad grades are something really, you shouldn't do that. You should only have A's. And if you don't get an A, you're a failure. And that's something really terrible. But I think that, and I also try to teach my kids that failure is a part of life. It's making steps. Some steps are good, some are bad, but you're just making steps towards your goal, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I like to ask my kids occasionally when I remember this is how did you fail today? Because I want them to kind of expect that those things will happen and
Mm-hmm.
not view it as a negative. Um, I don't know if we're quite there yet, but I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Because my kids are totally different. One of them is more like easygoing, but the younger one is he really he's really concerned, and he's really he wants to do everything right. So yeah, I have more work with him, but I'm really trying to teach him that it's okay to fail. It's nothing.
Exactly.
Just move on,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. So when you look back to this younger version of you, um, kind of in those places with that conditioning, if you could go back and give her advice, what advice would you give the younger you?
Well, I think that often when I was making a decision, I always looked at what was the norm, what other people thought was okay to do, and often I didn't listen to my gut feeling. Yeah, and I think that it was a fear from failure, and I didn't want to stick out. I just wanted to fit in, and so I often did things like others did them. So yes, I would advise my younger self to just be bold and just take a leap and jump into the unknown. And if I fail, it's okay. I can always start over. It's not
Yeah.
not a big deal. Yeah. So I would
Yeah.
fear much less.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
think
That's
so.
really good.
Mm.
So we kind of look backwards and then we look forward. What is next for you? Where are you going next in your business?
Well, I'm going to move more to online because living in a small town, I don't have access to so much people. But I think that there's
Sure.
so many women I can help. With the internet, we really have now access to a lot of women who need my help. And so, yes, I want to expand to online more and do some courses also, because what I teach is based on the mindset.
Hmm.
Weight loss and getting fit for me is a matter of first sorting the mental side, right? The mindset, and then everything else falls into place. I don't see this approach much out there, so I think that it's really helpful for women to have a chance to look at it from this side, because I know that for me it was a total struggle when I was trying to follow the workout regimen and do these macros and meal prep. It was too rigid and I didn't like it, but in reality I had a mindset problem, so my program is focused on mindset, and yeah, nutrition and fitness are also part of it, but mindset is the main part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I find that time and time again that any issue we are having in our life, or any quote unquote problem that we're seeing, it typically is our mindset that needs the shift. It's how we're viewing the situation. It's the story we're telling ourselves. Like, there's a bunch of different ways you can say
for
it.
sure.
But,
I had a client,
you know,
in example, I had a client, we just finished our work together.
yes.
And she came to me, she wanted to lose weight. But when we started working together, I discovered that she was really down mentally. She was really unmotivated, and she couldn't, she was really negative and couldn't find, she had a really hard time recognizing her strengths and what she did good. So we totally didn't work on nutrition and fitness for the first month, only her mindset. And after she did some exercises that I gave her, she has been doing them regularly, and after a few months, it started showing after the first month, but today she's a totally different person. She's really positive, like a totally different person, and the weight just came off. Before, she has been struggling for years to lose the weight, and now just after a few months of working on her mindset, yeah, it just happened naturally. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's a great real life example. This next question is probably going to be a no-brainer, but what do you now believe is possible for your own life?
Well, I started listening and reading about the law of attraction a few years ago. Okay. So before that, I never heard of principles like that.
Right.
And I really love it. And I noticed that I have been attracting things that I wanted already in the past. I could recognize that. And so I knew that it was true, that it works, right? I started implementing it more in my life. So I manifested this new career and this online thing. So I believe that anything is possible for anybody.
Absolutely.
You just have to set your mind to it. It's not really so much about work for it. Of course, you have to work for it.
Yes.
But first, you have to set your mindset
100%
for this thing that you want. So yeah, I believe that anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Yeah. Most of the women that I'm asking this question to say the same thing, but I think it's interesting when you look at the law of attraction. Most people hear manifesting or law of attraction, and I think it's just this like woo-woo concept. And in reality, it's a universal law because it's true for every person. Like, everyone is always attracting to them something. And it's where are you focusing your energy and your effort and your mind is what is dictating what you're attracting. And so people will say, oh, law of attraction doesn't work. I'm not getting what I want. You're getting what you expect, and you get what energy you are putting out. So it's always true.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love hearing people talk about it. I could probably talk about the law of attraction all day long.
Yeah, me too. I love it. I just love it. When I take my dog for a walk, I always listen to this law of attraction YouTube recordings, and it's really like become a part of my everyday life. Yeah, so I really strongly recommend it to anyone. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's it kind of goes back to, so much of it is the thoughts that we're thinking. that create our beliefs. So being able to kind of shift that is the challenge, right? Because you've spent your whole life kind of thinking a certain way or believing certain things. And so recognizing what needs to shift is the first hard part. And then the second part is just like creating that new, the scientist version of it, the scientific version is you're creating new neural pathways. So you're having to create a new habit and a new thought. And so that does take some repetition. I love those videos for that because you can just kind of create the habit of listening to them. And that is what gets you in the new mindset, right? To think differently.
Yeah. And here again, it becomes so obvious that when you're trying to win this new habit, changing your thoughts, you will have bad days.
Oh, sure.
When nothing works and you start thinking that it's not working and you'll never get to this goal that you have.
Right.
And these are just the failures that we talked earlier about, right?
Exactly.
They are here just the same. And you just have to reset your mind again to the positive and always try to find positive things in every aspect of your life.
Yeah. And I heard it recently said that it's only ever feedback. Whatever's happening in your life is just feedback. And when we take it, instead of, oh, I messed up or I failed or whatever, however you're going to beat yourself up about it, if you just say, oh, isn't that interesting? This is feedback that I'm not in the right mindset or I'm not energetically where I want to be. It's just your indication to be like, oh, okay, I can shift back to where I want to go. I find when we're nicer to ourselves and just be easier about it, it's easier to get back on track that way.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Well, I am sure that people are going to want to get in touch with you. So how can people find you?
Okay. Well, I have Instagram and Facebook pages, but my name is kind of really odd because it's Slovenian name, and so maybe you could just put my links in your notes.
I will.
Okay. So it's at Špela Hernavs, yeah.
I will include it, but Instagram is where you like to engage with people?
Yes, I love Instagram, and also on Instagram people can find my contact details and more info about my program. So yeah, they can reach me there. Yeah, easily.
Excellent. So everyone can just pop on over to the show notes and I will include those there.
Okay.
Špela, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice to meet you.
So whether you want to write a book, start a new business, or just put one foot in front of the other after divorce, the very first step you must take is to find your center, to align with who you really are. The way to do that is to find your very own perfect balance between body, mind, and spirit. Are you ready to figure that out for yourself? Pop on over to shaunalee.com/align to gain access to my signature program. In just 45 minutes, you'll learn all you need to know to create your own plan to find your center. Align is the program name. Find it under services at shaunalee.com.